Hi everyone, Queeveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. I hope that many of you, or at least some of you, got to see the solar eclipse that occurred on August 12th. This was, of course, a total solar eclipse, but only a partial from here in Ireland. And myself, I did get to see some of this eclipse about this much, maybe a little less, so yeah, 40%, 30 or 40% obscuration. Unfortunately, from my viewing location, the clouds rolled in, so the greater level of obscuration wasn't visible, at least not directly. The surroundings did become dark, it did become cooler, so the eclipse was still noticeable in other ways. This was only a partial solar eclipse, and the last very good eclipse, the last total eclipse that was visible as a good partial from here in Ireland, was back in 1999. This eclipse also occurred in August, so we're here on the 11th of August, and this was a total solar eclipse, at least from the south of England. But let's see how much of an eclipse we got from here in Ireland. Quite a lot already. I can tell this is going to be quite a deep eclipse. So a deep eclipse is a partial eclipse with a large amount of coverage. So we can see here 96%, about as much as we were able to get from the August 12th eclipse under good conditions this year. The next actual total eclipse that we're going to get here in Ireland isn't until 2090. This eclipse is going to be in September, so it's still around the same time. It is a similar time, of course, when we see eclipses. Where the path of totality occurs, where the path of totality passes across the Earth, does vary, and it varies in a reasonably regular way over the course of an eclipse cycle. The path of the eclipse will move from the poles, from the north, down across the Earth, across the equator, and then down across the south, and that pattern then repeats. So we're seeing 99.83% here of an eclipse, which isn't total. This isn't a total eclipse, even though it is incredibly, incredibly close. It doesn't look like our amount of obscuration is going up an appreciable amount from 99.9, which seems to be just about the maximum that we're getting. If we're seeing 99.9% here in Cork, that means the view is going to be pretty similar from elsewhere in Ireland, and there is a good chance that the view will go up to 100% from elsewhere in Ireland. I just want to make sure we are exactly at 99.9, and we will very subtly, very minorly change our location to see if we can bring that up to 100%, and it looks like we are going to be able to. There we go. So this is definitely still within Ireland, this exact latitude and longitude here. It is absolutely going to be on dry land over Ireland, and we can see here an eclipse duration of 3 minutes and 7 seconds. So in 2090, the very next total eclipse that we're going to have, it looks like only the very south, the southwest of Ireland is going to get a total solar eclipse. The rest of Ireland, even here in Cork City, is going to get a little bit less. But we will be getting a longer eclipse at 3 minutes and 7 seconds than anywhere got for the eclipse that happened on August 12th. You may remember from a previous video that Reykjavik in Iceland was able to see the August 12th eclipse for about 2 minutes. 3 minutes, of course, is just that little bit longer. Not the longest eclipse, of course. We will have some videos coming out next year talking about the very long eclipse happening in 2027 in Spain and North Africa and across the Mediterranean. This is the next actual total eclipse we get, and as you can tell, not visible from here in Cork City, but visible from just a couple of degrees further south. That means that this eclipse is going to be glancing off the southern coast of Ireland, and it will be visible as a total eclipse from other areas as well. The last one that we had here in Ireland, the last actual total eclipse that was visible as a total eclipse from here in Ireland, was in the 1700s. We're going back here all the way to 1724, and we're going back to the start of the year, so we'll come back a little bit. There we go. So this is the correct date. The sun is currently behind a tree, so no doubt the moon is also behind a tree. There is the eclipse. So this is an eclipse that we saw very, very close to sunset. We can see that it's quite late here, and I may need to remove the landscape. No, I don't. Totality is actually visible. So again, almost 3 minutes, quite a long eclipse. This eclipse, the path of this eclipse came across from North America and then across onto Ireland, so a very different path to the August 12th eclipse, and giving us just a little bit longer, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Definitely a total eclipse from here in Cork, here in Ireland, and we can see just barely above the tree there, plenty of planets visible as well. So this is the last actual total eclipse that we got here in Ireland that was actually total. In 1999 we had a very deep partial, just as deep as the partial eclipse we just had in 2026 on August 12th, and we are going to have another total eclipse which will actually be total in 2090, and that's going to be total from here in Ireland, but only just along the southern coast. So we will very quickly, while we're taking a look at these eclipses, just to make sure that I have gotten the path right, we're going to take a look at the shadow of the moon on the Earth during these eclipses. So here's the Earth, of course, once we're on the light side of the moon rather than the dark side of the moon. That means the Earth is going to be visible from the moon's surface. So here we are. As I said, the eclipse path moves across North America and onto Ireland, so a very different eclipse path to the path of the eclipse we just saw, and we can see here the shadow only reaches Ireland as the sun is setting. So that's why we saw this eclipse in the 1700s so low in the sky. So we will compare this path, which is nice and clear. It's going across a much wider part of the Earth. We're not seeing it skimming around the North Pole, so it is a little bit easier to follow. We will take a quick jump forward to check out that eclipse in 2090 as well. If you would like to see the path of the eclipse that we just had, our August 11th eclipse, then you can take a look at one of my recent videos to check that out. Now here we go on the correct date, and we will need to move back a little bit, there we go, to see the shadow of the moon. So we can see that the path of the moon here is a little familiar. The shadow of the moon is moving past Greenland, down across Ireland and down towards Spain and Africa. It is moving at a different angle than the last eclipse, so this isn't going to pass as close to Iceland. You can see it's passing by a different portion of Greenland, but just like the eclipse on August 12th and back in the 1700s, the moon's shadow is only reaching Ireland just as we come into nighttime. So these eclipses are all occurring pretty close to sunset. So as I mentioned, I do hope you saw the eclipse that we just had on August 12th here on Earth. If you didn't get to see the eclipse on August 12th, of course, we have another one coming up in 2090, but there are other eclipses happening in 2027, 2028 at various locations around the world, just not for us exactly here in Ireland. We will return back a little bit closer to the present day. So I hope that you enjoyed these views of these upcoming eclipses. There will be plenty more eclipse videos in the near future. And if you didn't get to see the August 12th eclipse, you can take a look at some simulations of it here on this channel. If you did enjoy this video, then please do like it. If you like this kind of content, then please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you'd like to read this information, you can do so on my website, queevinscontent.ie. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.